Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning, Miss Cotton.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So today we are going to focus on solving two-step equations by learning and doing the second step of the equation. So last time we worked on the first step of the equation. Do you remember what that was?
Sort of.
Okay, so we isolated
Mhm.
something. Do you remember what the term was called? Or can you describe what it looked like?
No, I do not remember.
Okay, so it was the constant number, and that was the number that was either added or subtracted. Perfect. So we are going to start with a computation practice. So that's adding, subtracting, and multiplying. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to work on these as quickly as possible, and you will not need a calculator. So you can go whenever you're ready. Awesome job. You finished before the 2 minutes. Was it difficult for you to do?
A little bit.
A little bit. Awesome. So next we are going to look at our vocabulary. And so what I need you to do is have all of your materials put away except for your pencil and the pen that we're going to use. And I need your attention and your participation. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay, so let's review our vocabulary from last time. So we had a variable, which is usually a letter of the alphabet. So then it's what you're solving for and what you want to get by itself. So you're trying to figure out what that variable is equal to. So can you point out the variable in our equation here?
2x.
The x, yes. And so then next is our constant. It's any number by itself, usually a single number not attached to the variable. Can you point that one out? Yes. And then the inverse operation is the opposite operation of what is in the equation. So can you point out the operation in the equation? Yeah, can you name it?
The minus.
Yep. And so what would our inverse be?
It would be plus.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking and answering. Let's move on to our next step. So first we're going to review the first step that we did last time. So we're going to do the inverse operation of the constant. Can you point out that constant again? Try one more time. Yep, 6. That number 6. I like the way that you refocused your brain and thought through what you were looking for. So what did we do to get that 6 to turn into a 0 or disappear?
We took away the 2x.
Well, we're looking at this one today, but last time we worked on the constant, which is the number 6. And then we had our operation here.
Which it would be minus.
Yep. So then what did we do with that minus?
We changed it to plus.
We did, and that's how we got that 6 to go away. And then on this side, what did we do?
16.
Yep, and then what did we do with the 6?
added.
Yep, we added 6 to both sides. So today we're going to look at the second step to solve an equation. That is 2 steps. So our I can statement is, I can name the second step to solve an algebraic equation. Can you name the second step?
I can name the second step to solve the algebraic equation.
Nice job, Maddie. So our steps, including the first step and including the second step we're looking at today, is to first add or subtract on both sides of the equation, which we just looked at, and then to multiply or divide on both sides. So what is our second step?
Then you multiply or divide both sides.
Yeah, way to be paying attention. Can you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on how this is on your understanding right now?
Thumbs up.
Awesome. Okay, so the rules of our equation solving is what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So that's what we did with that number 6. We eliminated the constant first. So our 6 was our constant number. And then we did the inverse operation to eliminate the closest or the number next to the variable. So together we're going to look at some examples. And so what I want you to do is circle the number next to the variable on number 1, this first one in the corner here.
Would it be the 2x?
Yep, the 2. So just circle the 2. So that is our number next to the variable. Now let's look at the 9x plus 1 equals 82. And our second step would be to circle what number?
The 1.
Well, number 1 is our constant. So let's look at the 9. Which one of these would be our second step?
This right here.
So this was our constant, right? And our inverse operation. So that would be our very first step. So what would we do second once this one is gone?
Circle this one.
We would look at the number 9. Yep, so circle that number 9. I do like the way you're thinking really hard though and focusing on getting the right answers. Okay, so let's look at this. 8n minus 1 equals 31. So let's walk through the first step again. So if we have our constant number, which one would it be? The 1 right there. So that was our first step. And then we would take the 1 on the other side and figure that one out. So what would be our second step?
The 8.
Yes, the 8n. So you can go ahead and circle that. And then we are going to look at the 10 equals negative 10 plus 5m. So our first step would be getting rid of this negative 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isolating that number.
Mm-hmm.
So then our second step would be what?
This 10.
So getting rid of this or isolating this 10 we would do on this side as well, right?
Mm-hmm. So it'd be the 5m.
Yes, that's perfect. Way to go, Maddie. Okay. So let's do some unguided practice, which would be filling out this or working on these equations. And what I want you to do is circle the variable and the number next to the variable. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you remember what the variable is.
Is this the variable 3x?
Yes, the x is the variable. So I'm going to go ahead and let you focus on those, just circling the second step of the equation, which is focusing on the variable. Good job, Maddie. Way to be focused and doing your very best job. Okay, so let's review. What does a two-step equation look like? Our vocabulary here is a variable, constant, and inverse. So let's look at this equation. And can you name what this would be right here, this 3x?
Constant.
Try one more time. The 3x, our x would be what?
The
variable.
variable.
And then this 2 would be which one of our words?
Inverse. Or it'd be the constant.
The constant number, yes. And then what would this plus sign be?
The inverse.
Yes, and if we turn that into a subtraction problem, that would be our inverse operation. So, can you repeat for me what the second step of finding or solving a two-step equation is?
It'd be the constant number.
The constant number was our first step. So this one right here is our constant, and we isolated that first, didn't we? So then what would our second step be?
The variable.
Yeah. So isolating that variable by itself. All right. That is our lesson for today. I want to thank you for paying attention and doing your very best work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, Maddie.
You too.